What up YouTube, it's your boy Anime Specialist. So I just finished watching the latest Black Clover episode and it was a masterpiece, man. It was amazing. We learned a lot of things, even though we didn't learn more than I thought we would, because there's still a lot of things that we don't know. It was an amazing episode, man, and I can't wait. But there was kind of a surprise for this week's episode. There was a new opening, and it was pretty good, man. The song I thought was good, not as good as the other songs, the other openings, but the visuals that we saw were amazing, man. So let's get right to it. So before we talk about the episode as a whole, I just want to analyze a little bit the new opening, the visuals that we saw, the images, the new shots that we saw in the new opening. So in this shot right there, we can see Lich, Rhea, Veto, and Fana, you know, in their elves form, and they look nice, man. I really like the way that, you know, this version of Fana looks, because the two Fanas that we know are different. So I really like that version of Fana, and you know, Veto looks a little bit different. He doesn't look as much of a beast, you know, that he looked like the first time that we saw him. And then, you know, Rhea, we saw him before all that, so I really like that shot right there of all four. Then in this next shot we can see Lich, Tessia, and her older brother. We still don't know what his role and what his name is, you know, in the story, so hopefully we'll know maybe in next week's episode. But you know, it seems like they all had a great relationship, so yeah, man. In the next shot we can see Leo and Fugelion. It seems like maybe Fugelion is finally gonna wake up. Hopefully we'll see him in this arc, and you know, maybe his position about everything that has happened since he was in a coma. So I can't wait for that. It's been a while, man. Fugelion, the last time that we saw him was when the episode were in their 20s or 30s, I think. So it's been a long time, so I can't wait to see Fugelion once again. This was probably my favorite shot of the opening. It looks amazing, man. Every Black Clover opening looks amazing. The animation, the art style, and every of their opening looks good, man. So that was one of my favorite shots. Asta in his Black Asta form, so it looks amazing. We're gonna see more of that, so I can't wait to see what's gonna happen with Asta. We also saw what seems like Lich's real body. I still don't know what the hell is happening with that, but I think in next week's episode more of our questions are gonna be answered, you know. So I really don't know nothing, man. There's a lot of things that maybe I thought that would happen that didn't happen in this week's episode, so I'll have to wait a little bit longer to know what the hell is happening. The final shot of the opening that I want to talk about is this one right there. We can see Yuno in his fairy form, I guess, and it seems like he's also in his elves form, you know. So I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe he's able to control himself or anything like that, I don't know. And right beside him we can see Asta, and later in this frame there was Black Asta, you know. So I really like that shot right there. It seems like they're gonna team up to beat Lich, maybe, I don't know. But this was the last shot of the opening that I wanted to talk about. I thought that it was a great opening. The song, like I said, it was good, and it wasn't exceptional, you know, like the other songs, but the animation, the art style, the visuals for the opening was amazing as usual. So let's talk about the episode, man, because it was a really good episode, and I like the way that they did the flashback for the elves. Just see this shot right there. It was like that for the rest of the episode, you know, except at the end. So I really like the way that they did that. That obviously is Lich. He had a 4-leaf clover, you know, a grimoire, so that's interesting. I think we've seen it before, I'm not really sure, but yeah, man, that's really interesting, man, that he had a 4-leaf clover from the beginning. And obviously he has light magic, like we already knew. And then something that I want to say is that it seems like they were going through the same thing that the humans were going through when they were getting their first grimoire. So it was the same place, I think. So it was kind of interesting. And obviously we saw what happened in this week's episode between maybe the humans, maybe not, and the elves. They don't really like each other because one want to destroy the other, because humans are scared of what the elves can be, because the elves are way stronger than them, but the humans are there's more of them, so there's kind of a conflict between them. We were also introduced to this character right there, Patry, which I knew was going to be important, but I didn't know he was going to be that important, so that was kind of crazy what happened. We're going to talk about it later in the review, but throughout the episode, I didn't really like his character, man. He was annoying, and I really didn't like him, so what happened at the end was kind of crazy. So the way that Lich encountered his future wife was by saving her from a tornado that she could have gotten out of because she has wind magic, but she was saved by Lich and her older brother because they both have light magic, which is kind of a cool coincidence, but we'll talk about it a little bit later. But yeah, man, that's how Lich encountered his future wife. I think her name is Tetsia or something like that. So I like her design. She looks beautiful, and yeah, man, she's important in this story, and we're gonna talk more about her in this review. So her older brother was this guy. We don't know his name, we don't know who he really is. We only know that he's Tetsia's older brother, but he seems a little bit familiar, man. I think we've seen him maybe before the episode begins every week. I'm gonna talk about all that during the review, but I think there's something really interesting about him. I've said previously in other reviews that I think he was one of the Wizard Kings. I'm not sure yet, but I think he was one of them. But the way that he was kind of free, he didn't seem to have much responsibility. I don't know, but he was way more free than Julius was when he was alive. Rip. But yeah, man, he's an interesting character, and I'm gonna talk about him also later in the episode, because there's a lot of things that happen in this week's episode, and my bad if there's some things that I forgot to talk about in this week's review, because I didn't take notes in this week, man. My bad about that. I didn't have my computer, but yeah, if there's some things that I forgot to talk about, let me know in the comments down below. But anyway, Tetsia, Lich, and Tetsia's older brother all had the same ideals from what we've seen in the episode. They all wanted humans and elves to be together, to live in harmony, and I think that's maybe one of the reasons why Tetsia and Lich fell in love with each other and married each other, because of that. I'm not saying that it's the only reason, but I think it's a big reason, because now Tetsia was pregnant. She was gonna have a baby that was half human and half elf, so that would have been crazy. Maybe the baby is still alive, I don't know how, but we'll see. But yeah, man, it was an amazing story, man. I really like the way that Tetsia was written, the same way Lich, because there's a lot of things that happen that we need to talk about, but there's other characters before the big event that I want to talk about. We saw this woman in the opening and during the episode, and her name is Fana. She has pink hair like the Fana that we know, and something that I want to say that I think I'm right, let me know in the comments down below, but I think that this Fana and the other Fana that we know are two different people. It was just a big coincidence that the Fana that we know also had the same name and the same pink hair. So that's one of the reasons why Lich, quote unquote, choose her to be kind of resurrected. But yeah, man, it was kind of cool to see the elf version of Fana. And then we also saw during the episode Veto. He was not as beast-like as he was when he fought the Black Bulls, but he was still cool looking. Anyway, I've been talking around it during the entire episode, but there was a big event that happened, and that's what was the switch for the elves. And obviously we still don't know what the hell happened. We only saw some images of what happened, but during the wedding or after the wedding, Lich, Tetsia, and the elves were attacked by some light magic, and obviously the only humans that they knew that had light magic was Tetsuya's older brother. So right now, the elves think that maybe, I don't know, maybe the humans did that, and obviously it's I don't think maybe they did, but it's reasonable that they think that a human did that because the only human that they know uses light magic, so there's some theories that I have that I'm gonna talk about, but it was a crazy event, man. Everybody died. It was a massacre. It was crazy, man. Every single elf died, man, and even Tetsuya, which is crazy, but we still don't have all the information, but it was a lot more that we've gotten since this arc with the Eye of the Midnight Sun started. So I have two theories about what happened in the episode. The first one is about Tetsuya's older brother. I really think that he was one of the Wizard Kings, and the reason why I'm saying that is because if you watch Black Clover every Tuesday, at the beginning of the episode there's the story about the Wizard King saving the Clover Kingdom from a demon, and I actually think that maybe this Wizard King is Tetsuya's older brother. The reason why I'm saying that is because we don't know when that happened, when the elves were exterminated. We don't know, so maybe that's when that happened. And my second theory is about Lich. So Lich, maybe inside of him, hated the humans, so maybe he's the one that killed all the elves so that he would motivate them to kill all the humans. I don't know, but these are my two theories, man. Like I said, the first one is about Tetsuya's older brother being the Wizard King that protected the Clover Kingdom from the demon, and that maybe when he used his magic, maybe while he used his magic without him wanting to, he killed all the elves. I don't know, but this is my first theory. And the other one, like I've said, Lich, I think that maybe he was the one that did that, just so he could go to war against the humans, man. But I'm not sure. These are my two theories. Anyway, we all know that the elves have much more mana than the humans. They're much more powerful, so why couldn't they protect themselves? Because for a reason they didn't have their magic. We don't know why. Maybe it's a spell that the humans or maybe Lich did so that they couldn't protect themselves, so that's the reason why they were killed off so easily. But yeah, man, that's interesting. A spell that couldn't really make them use their magic. That's interesting. So from Patrick's perspective, Lich used a forbidden spell, and that spell was resurrection. So he used this spell to kind of save all the elves, and that is a little bit confusing because what happened after that was, I know I've said this word a lot in this week's review, but it was crazy, man. So like I said, from Patrick's perspective, Lich used a forbidden spell, resurrection, and that saved a lot of elves' soul. And Patrick actually woke up in this body, a human body that looks like Lich. So that part is really, really confusing. I don't know why, but I can't say a lot about what happened after the massacre because I don't know what the hell happened, man. So maybe Lich used really a resurrection spell, but why would Patrick look like Lich after that? So that's my question for y'all. I know that the manga readers like Kitaro can't really say anything, but yeah, man, it's it's crazy. I don't know what the hell happened after that. And the thing that was even more confusing is that he was the only one that actually went to a human body and that was conscious of it. That's what is confusing to me, So I don't know what happened to the real Lich, because the Lich that we know right now is Patrick. He's not the real Lich, So I don't know what happened to the other elves. We know what happened to Fana, Veto, and Rhea because he put their souls into other, I think, human beings. Like Rhea it's his soul in an other human body. Same thing for Fana, because Fana is the most obvious of all them, because Fana, we already knew who she was. She was a friend with Mars, and we saw, you know, at the end of the episode how um, Patry kind of recruited all of them by, you know, giving them new life, resurrection, you know. So Fana, obviously, she was taken over by another Fana, the Elf Fana, which was kind of weird because her personality in this in the resurrected Fana was different than the Elf Fana that we knew during the episode. You know, the Elf Fana was a way more uptick, you know, but in this form she was different. So yeah, man, maybe that's the way that Patry did it, so that he could control all of them. I'm not sure, but there's still a lot of question that I have, because they answered a lot of them, but then there's a lot of question. There's a lot more question that I have, you know. So it was a crazy episode. It was a great episode. Something that I forgot to talk about is the magic stone. So obviously the reason why Patry wanted to collect all the magic stone is because they all had an enormous source of mana, and the magic stones actually was the elves magic stone. You know, it was theirs. It wasn't the humans magic stone, it was theirs. So they were scattered away, so he had to, you know, find them and, you know, use them so that they could become their true selves, you know. So if there's some things that I forgot to talk about in this review, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought about this week's episode in the comments down below, and let me know what you think is gonna happen next. I know that this review is really long, but there was a lot of things to talk about. The new opening, the flashback that we got from the elves and everything. So my bad if the review is really long. Let me know your thoughts about my two theories that I have. The first one about Tetra's older brother being a wizard king that saved, you know, the Clover kingdom from the demon, and maybe that caused, you know, him to kill the elves. Or my second theory about Lich is the one that did all of that, you know. So let me know what you think about all that. Even if you know it, let me know what you think about my theories, man. But I think I've said everything I needed to say about Black Clover. I do Black Clover reviews every Tuesday, so subscribe for that. But I also do other anime related things like Fire Force and Dr. Stone reviews on Saturdays, and then Kimetsu no Yaiba Demon Slayer plus One Piece reviews on Saturdays, man. The Wano arc in One Piece is restarting this weekend, because the last 2 weeks it was a filler for the One Piece Stampede movie. So the Wano arc is finally back, and I can't wait to watch it. I watched the next episode preview for Black Clover, and it seems like there's gonna be a fight between Yami and Marks. He was the right hand or the left hand man to Julius, so maybe he was transformed into an elves, and that's why they're attacking Yami. So I can't wait for next week's episode. Hopefully there'll be more answers because I have a lot of questions. But follow me at Anime Specialist on Twitter and Instagram. I tweet a lot more on Twitter, so follow me on there. Like, comment, subscribe. It would help my channel a lot. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, man. Anime Specialist out. Peace.